What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with another Ascent 18 upgrade. I'm going to call this one of the best upgrades you can do, and that is the Torq MLS 1025. So we finally have a servo that is a direct mount onto the axle with no ears and a rear exit wire. Perfect. Exactly what this truck needed, okay? One of my major complaints with the stock chassis, stock setup, even aftermarket setups, some of the aftermarket chassis hit this servo, and you can see on this one I've really did some grinding on this thing and cutting and just tried to get all of the travel I could there without too much interference. Now we're going to eliminate all of it. So I know the Torq is going to be a good servo, but we're going to get this installed, see how it fits and everything, check out if there's any movement, because we just have this one mounting hole, and then back here where the links attach, which is how the stock is set up as well. But just curious how it's going to fit. So we'll get it installed on here, and then obviously we're going to run it, see what we think about it. So here you can see the stock mount. The exact same thing is now built into the new servo. I didn't want you to think, oh, it's only got one mounting point. It's the exact same way this mounts up. So one screw, long screw in the back holding your links and the mount itself on. Your two screws into the stock servo ear will have to come out, and then one screw that goes through the front into the diff cover. And that's it. So very simple install. I am beyond thrilled with this. This is the one thing that I've been wanting for this truck more than anything. Really, it's one of the last things left I was going to do to this truck, period. I'm going to change my links. Besides that, I love the way this thing performs as it is. And, people have said, oh, upgrade the shocks and upgrade this and you'll like it better. Nope. I want it just like it is. Besides this servo, okay, it needed this badly. So before we were hitting the rails, really messing with our travel. Now we've got full travel, no issues. I will say it's a bear to line all of this up back here, which would be the case with any servo mount on this thing. But getting the screw through there, through the links, the ball ends didn't want to turn the correct way, and then lining up the screw on the back side to come out the hole here, it was a little tough. So you may want to remove the lower links and your drive shaft or something so you can get in there with your fingers, but I left everything hooked up and was able to get it. So it's just a little tight. Other than that, great fit, and it runs great. So this is at 7.5 volts. I had it on 8.4, but I turned it down just because I wanted to keep this Unity cool, nice and cool. And sometimes at 8.4 volts with a little bit of drag brake, it'll start getting some heat on it. So we've got it at 7.5, I think it is. And look at that, dragging the truck around. So it's going to be plenty powerful. We've now got the aluminum horn. Wires come straight out the back. Even with the Unity, you can see I'm clearing just barely. I'm thrilled with this. Let's go run it. So I've actually been running this servo for a couple months now. Since back in the beginning of October, we went out to Branson. So a lot of this running is actually in the Branson area. And I haven't had a single issue with this servo. That's one of the things I love about these Torq servos is for the price, I really think they're the best bang for the buck. This thing's coming in, I'll put the specs up on the screen, but at the full 8.4 volts, I think you're getting 200 ounce of torque, which is just plenty. It's insane. One of the most powerful servos with the best price. So coming in around 45 bucks. I highly recommend this for the Ascent 18. I think it's one of the best upgrades that I've done to this truck, just because it helped with my clearance and it upgraded that servo. So some of the issues I mentioned, it kind of being a bear installing this. I just wanted to give a shout out to the way that they handled that. Apparently quite a few other people that were given one of these servos to test had some major issues trying to get theirs installed. Maybe some couldn't even get them installed at all. And then they had a little issue with the servo horn being thick, a little thicker than stock. So the one that I have on here was a little thicker, which caused me to kind of hit the bumper of this body, which this is a custom body mounted completely custom. So it wasn't a big issue to me. I just kind of figured it was because I've moved the bumper around and that sort of thing. But they did go back to the drawing board a little bit, kind of redesigned it a little bit. So they've kind of put off release, for a couple months on it.
just getting things lined out. And it now comes with a little thinner servo horn, which is just like stock and should mount up perfectly. So I thought it was really cool that they didn't just rush the release of this. They kind of went back and made sure things were right before putting it out there. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys, that's not always the case. I get a lot of things that I have issues with. I go back to the company, send them a message, tell them what's going on, and I really don't hear much of anything, and then it pops up on another channel, and they're talking about how great it is, and there's no way that they had time to change anything. I mean, it's 3 days, you know, like, so the way they handled this was great, I think, and, you know, they just held it up, made sure things were correct, sent us out new versions to make sure that everything was good with that, and then they released it, you know. So I really like the way they handled that. It shows that they truly want to get it right. They're not just looking for somebody to give a positive review to make some sales, you know, like they actually want it to be a good product because they know that's going to give them sales in the long run. That's definitely not always the case. I mean, there's a lot of companies that just won't deal with me anymore because they know I'm going to give my honest opinion on it. And some of these companies just don't like an honest opinion. I mean, I've been blackballed over releases lately because of my opinion that I spoke out on different platforms, and you know, it caused me to not get some things. But to me personally, I'm not here to make friends with these companies. I'm here to make friends with my fellow hobbyists and hopefully save you guys a buck here and there. If these companies can't take a little bit of criticism and use it to make their product better, then they're just not going to have a good product. So I always like to point out when a company goes above and beyond to make things like little issues that, like this servo had, you know, they go above and beyond to correct it before you guys have to deal with it. That's a huge, huge deal because at that point, people are wasting their money for their R&D work that should have been done ahead of release. And so the fact that Torq was taking these servos and really reworking them before release, not rushing it, not just trying to hurry up and make a quick buck, really shows that they want to get it right. And I've not killed one of these servos yet. I am running these servos in tons of my trucks now, and they've been great. I really think they are probably the best bang for the buck servo, and I love the mountless setup. Yes, it can limit you to what truck you're going to use it on. You know, you can't decide you're done with one build and move that servo to a completely different platform because it's made specifically for, you know, the Ascent or the SCX24 or whatever. But man, not having those ears on the servo sticking out is just so much cleaner. The rear exit wires, and just a great overall servo. I had a great time out running this truck as always, and zero issues with this servo. So you guys let me know what you think about it. I've got quite a few servos that they're releasing on hand I'm going to be checking out. So we may get around to showing those. I got one for the Micro B that I'm hoping to get installed. That thing, I've not even really ran it. It had servo issues right off the bat. So definitely looking forward to getting that installed. Happy New Year, guys. 2025. Looking forward to a big year in 2025, and I appreciate all of you that have been around for the last couple years, and here's to another great year. Thank you, guys. Peace.
Losing the rear end again. There he goes.
Oh, yeah, you got it made now, though. Well, not made.
I don't know if I can get up this or not.